everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Amy. Today I'm going to show you a really cute design on this huge Jägermeister bottle. I am going to just use this to paint designs on and wash off just like I do with the wine bottle because it's so big. I mean, it really is. It's probably twice the size of a regular bottle that I normally would paint on. Anyways, I am going to be using 3 AMAGIC paint brushes, a 16, a 14, and a 12, and a dotting stylus. Alright, all the paints I'm using are FolkArt paints, and just keep in mind I do put my affiliate links down below for the items that I use, so if you're interested, feel free to purchase through those. I am using aqua and teal topaz. This is a metallic multi-surface paint. I do combine the multi-surface and the enamels. Fresh foliage. I don't know why I can't speak today. I apologize for that. Wicker white. Thicket. And yellow ochre. Alright, so the first time of painting on this bottle, this size, so hopefully I get it all in. Apologize if any of it goes off the screen, since it is a new item for me to paint on. And let's see, hopefully you can see my paints because this is a big guy. Alright, so I'm going to start with the number 16 flat brush. And I'm going to be putting one side into the aqua, one side into the teal, and then putting in some white paint too, and just doing a blending stroke. Again, I am not real big on being real precise with loading my brush. I know a lot of times people want to see this part. And again, yeah, actually I think I tipped that in the wrong side. I'm going to tip the teal into the actual side of the aqua and then just have the white on the one side. Alright, so I'm going to move this out of the way. The proper way is to load it, get it full of paint, at least 3/4 of the way up the bristles. Again, I'm not real particular, so sorry about that, but alright, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to do a few little buds. And I'm just putting them at the top, just kind of doing like a little wiggle, and that's it. I like, on many occasions, I like to turn my bristles in different directions so that some have the white, some have the darker shade on the top. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the actual flower. So on this, I'm just pushing the bristle down a little bit and giving it a nice little wiggle. If you get to where the paint is separated a little bit, you want to make sure you have good coverage when you're painting on glass. So I will be going over this. If you feel that you need to give it maybe some dry time and then go back over it again, by all means do that. You can also use a heat gun, hair dryer, something of that sort to give it some dry time and go back over it again if you feel like you do need to have another coat added. That's up to you. Alright, so on this, I got the lighter at the top, and then, make sure I'm still on camera here, I'm going to take the dark, I'm going to lead up with it, and then do some wiggles and then pull it like that. And then I'm going to come back over this way, do it again. I can go up into the flower that's right above it or around it. This one I'm just going to do 2 petals, kind of rotating a little bit. I'm going to come here, start my wiggling, come up, wiggle, 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 and then what I can do, because I am doing a 5 petal, is then come down here and just kind of do a petal off like that. Up to you. If you just like the idea of this type, that's perfectly fine. If you want to vary it a little bit, you know, you can. Or you can go all the way around it with the same color on the outside. And I do that a lot too. So again, it's not a big deal if you decide to do it differently. Add your own twist. I'm perfectly fine with that. And because I'm doing this on a bottle that I'm not going to be selling, I'm not real particular about everything being perfect because I'm not selling it. So this is more for giving you a demonstration on how to do things as opposed to everything being perfect. It's to show you how to do it. I hope that makes sense. Alright, this one is going to be an open flower. So I'm going to come over here and yep, I'm going to do the darker on the bottom. Just like that. And let's see here. I don't like that white on that edge, so I'm going to come back here, go over it again just to finish it off. That's one thing nice about working with glass and paint is it's so easy to fix something. If you feel like it's off, then just, you know, fix it. Not a big deal, not a biggie at all. Okay, come down here. Now I can do this with two, or I can put the third, but I think I'm just going to leave it like that instead of having a third, because it's the room, even though it's a big bottle, it's still, you know, I need more room. Alright, the next one I'm going to use for a brush is my 14. It's the 14 flat brush. I am going to move the bottle here a little bit. Now I'm going to dip one side into the fresh foliage, one side into the thicket, do my blending. I can come over here and put a little touch of white in it. Just keep in mind that if you ever need to get your paint to be more opaque, the white helps. There are certain colors and you kind of just have to figure them out, but some of them are more pigmented as opposed to others, and if you add those into the mix, a lot of times those will help create a more opaque look. Okay, so I'm just going to come through here where I can and just add the greenery, and it's, you know, it's so close that I really probably don't even need to do this because I'm going to be adding in a lot of leaves. If you know my work, you know I like leaves. So here we go. Now you can lead with the dark green or the light, doesn't matter, but I'm just pushing these on the chisel edge, and when I say chisel edge, I'm talking about the tip of the brush, and I'm turning it sideways. And I can go like this with the lighter green being prominent or the darker green, doesn't matter. And when I come down like this, just so you see it, I might end up with the darker or a mixture so that you can actually see the color. I'm gonna go like this, and then tip this in like that. Okay, very simple. And I apologize, my air conditioning is getting ready to run, so it's noisy. Then I can come down here, do the same thing. And I'm just pushing it, chisel edge, and pulling, pushing and pulling. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you know me, I'm going to come back in and put some leaves in here. So be prepared. Alright. These leaves are going to be slightly different. Hopefully I can do them where you can see it. Alright, so I'm going to do one here. So make sure I'm on the screen here. And I'm going to wiggle, which that's not different. I do the wiggly leaves quite a bit. You could leave it like that even if you wanted. Just wiggling on the one side. But I'm going to come back down this side. I'm actually going to use the dark on the edge. And then I just did a pull. You know, it's kind of one side is wiggly and one side's straight. And then I can pull a center in this if I want. It's up to, you know, up to you. Because if you get the colors right, sometimes you don't even need to have that in there. Alright, so let's do another one here. I'm going to do wiggly like that. Once again, I can just leave it that way or add the other side to it. I'm going to turn my bottle, and on this one I'm just going to go like this and pull it down the side. Very simple. And then I can put a little stem down the center. Alright, so then I can come down here, and you know, you could start with this part if you wanted to have the rounded part first. Pretty easy. And then I can come over here, and I'm going to use the dark edge, and I can do the wiggling in it like that. So you don't have to have the wiggle always on the top. And you'll find that when you get comfortable with painting, certain directions will be easier than others for you. So that's, you know, what you might find me doing some different, you know, like if it's always seems to be going the same direction, it's because it's easier. That's the only reason. Alright, so, you know, you can come in here and add more, because it seems like I'm just adding singles, because typically I would add, you know, 2 at a time, but I'm just going with the space that I have to create. Alright, so then on this one I can actually come down here and do it like that. Now that one ended up pulling some of the blue. Let's go like this. Like that. And pulling the stem through. If you have any questions or comments while I'm painting, you're welcome to place those down below. Okay, so I'm going to do one like this. And then I'm going to turn my bottle. Now I'm doing a lot of turning, right? And I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to do the wiggle and pull it in. The only thing you have to be careful of is it's separating a little bit, and that's because I'm painting on top of a painted area. That's something you have to watch for when you're painting on glass, because the paint does have a tendency to separate if you're working it too much. Alright, so I'm now going to, well, let me do one more before I get to that point. I'm going to put some down here. Okay, so I'm doing my wiggle. I'm going to go over it again, doing my wiggle, and I am pulling up some color from underneath. That does happen when your paint is not dry, but that's okay. So you see where it's separated a little bit there? You can go back over it just with a light touch. And just be careful, because you don't want to work it too much, because then you're going to cause even more of it to come up. right, so I have that. Now I'm going to come back in here and start putting in, you know, my normal, just easy. These are my favorite ones to paint for whatever reason. And I'm just doing them very lightly. I don't want to have too much. I can actually do one over here. I'm glad that stopped. I'll make sure my camera's still on. Alright, so then like you can, you know, add some in the center here. Not a big deal. And you want to just, you know, make them. You don't have to put the little stem in them if you don't want. That's fine. Up to you. You can turn them and come up this way, up over the flower. Wherever you feel the need. Again, if you're not a leaf person, then don't worry about it. But I like leaves. I like flowers, I like leaves, and I'm going to put some up in here. Let me grab some more white. Make sure I'm still on the camera. Guys, I'm sorry if I float off. Just bear with me, please. Yep. So just bear with me if you would. I'd appreciate it. I'm just going to put a little up like that. Like that. Now you can go up into the bottle, but you get the gist, basically. So what I'm going to do now, I know I was talking, your leaves don't have to be green. I'm going to do the yellow ochre, and I'm taking the number 12 flat brush, and I'm just putting it full of paint. Alright, so just to do a quickie here, I'm going to do like a little stem. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be if you want it. And again, on this bottle, I don't have a whole lot of room, even though it's big. But I'm going to go ahead and do this. I can go off to the side a little bit if I want, off to the top, because there is room at the top. However I want to do it. Now I can do like this type of a leaf, which again is my favorite to paint, and just easily put them in whatever direction I want it to go, or wherever I have room, just sporadically. You know, again, just putting them here. This leaf is a little squanchy. And then I can just come in with this, just using a single color. Once again, these are kind of like ghost leaves in a sense, because they're not really meant to be really full of paint. They're meant to be very light. Like if you were doing it on paper, you could actually even add some medium to them to get them to be even thinner if you wanted. Because the mediums, like the clear medium and the flow mediums, are actually nice for this kind of work. But on the glass, try not to make them, I mean, they are thin, so if they're actually on the glass all by themselves, they will not be as protected as if you were adding, you know, another color to them or making them thicker, because they are thin. And you can also come back and go over them if you want. I, again, for the purpose of the video, will not be going over them again, but you get the gist of it, I'm sure. All right. Now I could put another, you know, look at this, maybe put another one down here, but I'm not going to. I don't want this video to be 5 hours long. All right, so then I'm going to take my dotting stylus, and I'm going to stick it into the yellow ochre again, and then just go tap some dots in here, topping them in here, even though this is partially open. They still have a center, and I'm just pretending, just to give it some extra color, that this is coming up from the center. You can see part of the center. And then I'm going to pull this back. And you can put more in. You can put a contrasting color, like if you wanted to maybe add white and get it to stand out a little more. That's up to you. And with this center, you know, you can actually make it a little fuller, more dots. And then I'm just going to add a few more here, just to give them some color. That's it. It's the only reason. All right, and there you have it. Let's see if I can get it all in here. All right. Pretty easy, right? All right, I hope you like this video. If you do, please give me a big thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit that notification bell. Before you leave, if you would take a moment to share this video on your social network by hitting that share button you'll find underneath the video, I would greatly appreciate that as well. I am trying to grow my channel. All right. Thanks so much for taking the time to stop by. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Until the next time, please have a good one.